Not yet. Okay, now I realize. Hello, everybody.
Hi. So sorry for technical
Sorry.
difficulties.
Yes, it's been crazy. Okay, you guys. It wouldn't let me use a certain email address, so I had to backtrack and redo everything again. So sorry.
Could you let us know in the chat if you can see and hear us okay?
Yes. As soon as I find the chat. Okay, there we go.
I don't see
Hey,
anything.
Sarah. Hey, Nicole. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Chris. Hi, Nancy. Let's see who else am I missing. And everybody else that may have not. Oh, hi, Alice.
Oh, good.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Hey, Danielle.
Great.
Awesome. So sorry, you guys. We're gonna jump right into it because, of course, we're 14 minutes behind schedule.
Ooh.
I hope everybody's having a great morning, and I'm excited, nervous, but excited. So I have a couple of announcements I wanted to talk about first before we kind of get into this. So I want to kind of explain to you the timeline of events that we're going to do the mini classes in. So this is the first mini class, of course, the prerequisites, and that's the very basics. That's setting the foundation to build upon the other classes. And so there's going to be a total of 4 classes in total, and each will be a build upon the next. Okay, so I don't want you to assume that you're going to get everything all in this one mini class. It's a mini class for a reason, for sure. But we're going to definitely make sure that we can answer all the questions that we can. And then speaking about questions, if there is a question that you ask and we know we're going to cover it in the next class or so, we're going to save it and hold on to it and make sure that we cover it in the next class. Okay, so don't feel like we're abandoning your question. We'll let you know for sure. But thank you so much for your questions, by the way. There's so many. We were oh goodness, this morning when we saw all the questions.
I think that's awesome though, because it gives us fuel and what you guys want to know answers to.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting. I'm excited about that. What else was I going to say? And then, so the awesome thing I wanted to let you know about this. For the replay, you're able to go directly to the question that you want answered instead of watching the entire mini class again. Okay, so you are wanting to know exactly whatever question that you've asked or whatever question that anybody else asked, and you want to know that answer specifically, then you can just on the replay it'll exactly show you the questions, and it'll allow you to click that question to view that answer. Okay, so I want to let you know that right off the bat, so that just in case you can't watch it all, you can always do that. And I think
You're ready?
Yeah, I think that's my spiel.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, cool. All right, I'm Carissa, of course. I am Carissa. I'm hearing an echo when Caitlin speaks. Uh-oh.
Do you have a second window open, Carissa, that has me in it?
Do I? Let me see. No. No echo. I mean, no. Let me close out that just in case. Speak again and see if they can hear you.
Do I have a second window open? No. Okay, I don't.
Hear echo?
You have to wait 20 seconds.
Yeah, right.
We'll wait to see if anyone.
Anybody else can hear echo, you guys?
Oh, good.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, so I'm Carissa. I'm from CarissaLene.com, and I've kind of introduced myself a little bit. I am a mommy first to a sweet little 17-month-old boy that is going through teething pains, and that means no sleep for neither one of us. Awesome, Sarah. Thank you. Also, a little backstory. I come from a background that really focused on children and education. I went to school for math. And that's what I thought I was going to be, a teacher. As you can tell, I love to teach. And so fast forward, I ended up opening up a organic smoothie and juice bar. And it was awesome for a year straight. I ended up closing the juice bar. It'll be a year at the end of this year that I've closed the juice bar. Many reasons into that closing, but we did well. Making money wasn't a lot of things with that. But throughout that year, well, almost 2 years of the beginning to the end, I've learned so much. I mean, first of all, open up a brick and mortar or anything similar to that is totally different than like an online business, but very similar as to, you know, some like the mechanics of it. But I learned so much from it. And you know, after I closed, I was really, you know, thinking about everything that I did that was right, everything that I did that was wrong, all of my mistakes and failures, and how I can better someone else that maybe is trying to go through the same, you know, the same steps. So that's kind of landed me here today. After like piecing all the good things together, I kind of now I'm at the point to where I can share with you everything that I pretty much did to make sure that, you know, you don't make those same mistakes. And so that's why I always say that I work with the motivated entrepreneur, or like I like to call them the entrepreneurs in training, to make sure that, you know, you build a solid foundation and you have a defined path towards your failure-proof business. Okay, so that's kind of my my story, and as brief as I can tell it.
Good story.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
So I am Caitlin of the Crown Fox, and I work with creative individuals and companies to create cohesive and clean branding to better their business and their online presence. And my story is pretty basic. I went to school for design and photography, and then I went and worked at a large worldwide advertising agency. And I actually didn't like the pace of it. I didn't like the kind of face in the crowd of it. I much rather would work close and one-on-one with clients, and really get to know their business and their brand and help them reach success. So after that, I went and worked for 2 years with two amazing photographers, and we just built their business up. They were a startup, and we took it from, you know, one client a month to booking 30 weddings in a year and having public or speaking events at like big conferences and everything. So that was really fantastic. And the reason I started doing freelancing is I was really craving just working with more clients that I felt passionate about and helping them, you know, see success in their dreams. I feel like I have a really strong foundation through school and just through experience of knowing what kind of branding and knowing how to approach, you know, social media, blog content, and all of that will really, really improve their business. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get right into it, you guys. Actually, I need to be sure that I can get this good stuff right here. All right, hope you got your pens ready and you're ready to get down to business. Let's see here. Okay, so I wanted to let you know, like on the worksheet page, the Identify the Preneur Within You page, that's definitely something you can use to jot down notes and whatever else you want to kind of, you know, jot down as you're going through it all. The business checklist notes, that's saved for the end. Okay, so don't scribble on that yet, quite yet. Save that for the end. But everything else you can, you know, use at your will. I'm trying to make sure too that I have everything that I need right in front of me. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about. I want to kind of explain to you about what, like, the difference between, I guess, the entrepreneurial status that you may be in, right? So we have, of course, what I like to call. Oh, I thought that's. I'm sorry, you guys. What I like to call. Is there a video aspect to this? I can only see these comments. Oh yeah, timer. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I like to call these three main people that Caitlin and I both work with. Is the entrepreneur, which is somebody that's extremely ambitious, driven, and, you know, ready to get things done. They just may not have, you know, the idea or, you know, or the business yet. And then, of course, we have the ideapreneur that has the idea but may not know where to start as far as getting their business off the ground. Or they may have like 20 ideas, they need to narrow down to maybe 2, right? And then, of course, we have a startuppreneur, which is someone that is just starting off in their business, or right at the tip of starting off, or maybe has been in their business for less than a year. And so we're here to basically kind of help you get to those steps to from your idea to launch, or to form an idea to launch whatever you want to launch. Okay, be it a website, a blog, a product or service, or whatever the case may be. That's our goal for you. She handles like all the cool stuff that I can't do, like the branding and design and stuff. And then I'm over here doing all the business stuff, right? So that's kind of where we are. Oh, you guys. Carmen Thompson, that's my mom.
Hi, Carmen.
So yeah, you guys. All right. So let's jump right into it. First thing I like to always make sure that we are identifying first is your mindset. Okay, and this is something that I definitely struggled with my first business. I did not have a mindset that was focused on success. Of course, I'd say things like, "Oh, it's going to be so great, it's going to be profitable, you're going to make money, you're going to do this and that," and I had those dreams and ambitions and things like that. But I did not have the mindset that was already programmed to say, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to make it happen, right? Granted, we made it happen, but it was tough, you guys. And I feel like this: if your mindset is not on success, if it's not on the betterment of your business, right, to make sure that you're gonna get through it and get to your business from A to Z, as much as you need to sacrifice sleep and happy hours and Starbucks, right? Then you're really setting your business up from the very, very beginning on failure. You're setting your business up to not succeed as you wish it would, right? So let's kind of like go through. Let's see here. I talked about this too in a post that I did on my website, because I wanted to really make it known that this is something that you definitely need to tackle, right? So something I talked about was called recognizing your false self. And this is something I actually read about in the book, and it hit home with me like 1,000%, because it's something that we make up, right? We have this imaginary person that we made up that constantly bashes us, that says that we can't do something, that has stuff that brings about self-doubt and insecurities and fear, and all these things that hinders us from being the best we can be and have the most amazing business that we could possibly have, right? You gave birth to this person, whether you know it or not. It's taking over you, taking over your mind, taking over everything that you want to see prosper. It's bringing on that pity and that disbelief and the uncertainty within your business from the start, you guys. And you may not believe it, you may not see it, because we're so accustomed to just like having that false stuff in the back of our minds and never really acknowledging that it's there. So in order for us to take those steps, you have to make sure that we are definitely, like the worksheets that I gave you, those are some questions that you may want to ask yourself as you are going about figuring out what's in your mindset that needs to be changed, right? Like what in your mindset needs to be tackled. Like, are you putting off certain tasks because you're afraid to get it done? Are you afraid to see what happens? Let me just disclaimer here, right? Kaylin and I literally, we met, I believe, through Crate Lounge with Kayla Hollis. And I reached out to her because I forget exactly what was going on, but I reached out to her because I like what she was saying, and she seemed pretty awesome. And she is pretty awesome, you guys.
Thank you.
and I reached out to her, and we literally just got on it. Like, we had our mindset was pretty much the same. We've changed up a whole lot of things since like the very first call. We talked every night pretty much since then. We stayed up countless hours every night trying to make sure that we, got these things done, and our goals were very much aligned. So not only like having, what I'm trying to say is pretty much is that we did not really even have a grand idea of what this is going to be like. We didn't know we was going to launch this, mini class in like the next 2 weeks after we talked. But we made the idea that, hey, listen, if we want to get on the status of, these awesome people like Regina or Mariah, or or like Maya Elliott, so everybody else that's out there that's doing amazing things, and we have to launch when we're not ready. So that's been like my whole mantra of like October and forever on, hopefully, is launching when you're not ready. Even if you feel like you are just like fear and self-doubt and insecurities are killing you and not making you make those moves, make the move. Just start. The hardest part, like I say, is starting. Is starting anything, right? You think about like washing dishes. When we think about it, we don't want to do it. we procrastinate. We find other things to do. It takes us like 5 minutes to wash those dishes, but we're gonna make it like a hour long, process in our minds because we are just made that way. That false stuff in our minds are creating us to believe that it's gonna take us a whole hour. We're gonna miss like everything that happens in the world within that hour, and we're not going to be able, to prosper because we have to spend 5 minutes washing dishes. So that's just some things, very minimal things that your false self make you believe, right? That you can't do something or that something's going to take you, years to see the fruit of your labor. When actually, if you start and you put yourself out there and you make it known that, listen, I'm Carissa and I'm doing this thing because I went through this and I want to show you how not to go through, why I went through. And I want to make sure that you succeed on a solid foundation, right? If I'm putting that out there and I'm letting everybody know that, then automatically you feel more confident, right? Like I told Caitlin before we started, I said, you know what, I don't have any lipstick on. Let me put some lipstick on because it made me feel a little bit more confident. So put on whatever face you have to put on to kind of get where you need to go and get your mindset together and let that false stuff know that you're not about it today. you're gonna launch before you're ready, and you're gonna stop putting off those small tasks or those small investments and those 100-word blog posts that can be something very more valuable than that. You know what I mean? All right, you guys. So in the worksheet, the mindset worksheet, it's some questions on there. So I do want you to think right now as I'm speaking to you of some things that you procrastinate on or perfectionist at, right? And I say perfectionist because we assume that perfectionist is just like I'm just perfect at everything, and I want to be sure that it comes out perfect to the world. That way I don't hear any backlash, right? But you just having that perfectionism mindset, you are already you're without knowing it procrastinating. You're basically saying I'm going to put out this perfect product when they're at the perfect time, to the perfect audience, even if it takes me 5 years to get it done. When in 5 years somebody has, they won the lottery, they have the perfect audience, they have an awesome mailing list, right? They have a coach or a mentor that's amazing and has gotten them, so many more things within their business. They've been on TV, they've done all these things in 5 years. They're probably chilling on the beach, ready to sip a mojito, right? So so think about those things. Go ahead and like write out some things that maybe you are setting aside in your mind already, whether that's a course, whether that's I saw Chris, you mentioned getting a mentor or a coach. Is it worth it? Maybe that's something that you're maybe procrastinating within your own self, within your own mind, because you don't want to make the investment to it. But I think about, when I think about that, I always say that, you want to make the investments to something that you are either not good at, or that you hate doing. Like it's gonna take, like for me, like it'll be all design stuff. Like I can't do it. I just simply can't figure out how to make something look that pretty and presentable to someone else. So that's something that I would technically say, hey, Caitlin, I need you, girl, because I can't do it. And that's an investment I have to make. Because if not, then I would have, not so pretty images, and nobody will like me anymore because they can't stand looking at my images. So yeah, Chris. So yeah, thinking about like that coach or that mentor, you just may need to just reach out to them, schedule a consultation with them, and see exactly like what it is that they are about, because you want to make sure that you're kind of resonating with them on that level. But yeah, write down some things right now, you guys. Go ahead and get your pens out. Write down some things that you procrastinate about, that you're being the type A perfectionist about, and put it out there. Acknowledge it in your mind and put it on paper and get it out of your mind. Releasing that false stuff from harboring your mind. Get it out. Get it from out of your mind. That's like the first step that we're gonna tackle today. I don't want to hear anybody else, saying that they're fearful or they're doubtful or they're insecure about launching that product, that business, that service, whatever, that blog, that, washing those dishes. I want you to get it out your mind, put it on paper, and get it out, right?
I think for me, when I first started blogging, I was like, I want to be a lifestyle blogger. And I would procrastinate writing the blog posts because I knew that it wasn't good blog posts. Like I knew that it wasn't good content. And so I would procrastinate. And so I think coming to that realization and like writing out, like, why don't I want to write these blog posts? Why am I putting it off? Because that's not good content, because I don't have good pictures. I don't have a cool lifestyle to blog about. Kind of had this realization for me that maybe that wasn't the right direction. So it might also be helpful kind of narrowing down and figuring out what direction you want to go in if you're writing down these things that you're avoiding and why you're avoiding it. Just a thought. Oh, your smoothie's pretty.
Oh, yeah. It's a berry something. All right, guys. Yeah, so now that we got some things out of our minds, right, we're about to take some action, right? We acknowledged it. We've gotten it out on paper. It's a good quote that I have on my blog post by Willie Nelson. It says, "Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you will start having positive results." It's like literally that easy, right? Once you decide, okay, I want to write this book, so I'm going to spend an hour every day, before work, after work, in the morning, whatever is the best time for you, and I'm going to write, for an hour. Brainstorm out loud, whatever it is, I'm going to do it for an hour, right? You already getting that positive thought in versus saying, gosh, after work, I'm so tired. I really just want to go home and eat and sleep, take a shower, catch up on some shows, and, fall asleep watch TV till I can't, till my eyes get heavy, right? Instead of, putting those negative thoughts in your head already, you're already just replacing that with positive thoughts, and you're getting it done. you're gonna make the time, sacrifice that, those shows on TV. There's on demand, there's online, there's Hulu and Netflix to catch up. But sacrifice that time and just get it done. That's definitely what we want to get at. Also, yeah. Okay, and then once you have like those things that are hindering your mind, the false stuff that's making you think of those negative thoughts, and you've written it down, plan to activate the change today. Okay, this could be the hardest step, because you've already, now that you got it on paper, you're like, okay, well, it's out of my mind. What I'm glad that's over, but it's not over. You have to go ahead and make the steps, make a plan to get it done. So you say, okay, I want to write this book. And, it may take you a month or 2 or 3 to get it done, but you're going to say every day after work, right, I'm going to spend an hour writing this book. No matter what, I'm going to spend this hour. Or if you know that the next day that you're going to have a bunch of things to do that night, then say, okay, well, in the morning, I'm going to do it for an hour. Or while I'm at work, I'm going to sneak and do, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes here, my lunch break, whatever it is.
Are you talking about me sneaking and doing work at work?
You were in my mind when I said that.
I am so guilty. I have like a secret Evernote pulled up on my computer and use incognito windows all day at work. Like, I'm probably going to get fired, but maybe that's a good thing. Anyways, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine, girl. Yeah. You were in my mind when I thought about that. That's funny. But yeah, something I said too in one of my blog posts is that the easiest part is living through the change, you guys. Living through it, to be able to say that I persevere. I've gotten from point A to point B. Like, oh my goodness, right? Like, for us to even get from an idea to an outline to, talking on the phone and branching off that outline to actually like getting like images done and seeing the fruits of our labor with images and promoting on Twitter and Periscope and talking to people, through different platforms to get the word out about, our mini class today. Like, that I'm seeing the change. I'm seeing the improvement. I'm seeing the perseverance of it all. And then to look back at the progress that you've made because you were persistent. Like, that is just the most amazing feeling. Like, that gets the momentum up to keep going, to keep writing, to keep doing it, to keep creating, to keep, inspiring and motivating other people to do the same thing, right? So get out all your affirmations, all your declarations, all your, everything you need to do to have a confirmation at the end of the day to say that you are doing what you need to do for your business and to move forward with it, right? Woo, you guys. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to look at the questions real quick because I'm going to take a little break from chatting it up so much and see if there's any questions related to that at all. And if you have any more, just keep putting them in there. That way we can get to them. Mm-mm-mm.
I don't see any that
You don't?
super relate.
Okay, so if there's nothing that's really pertaining to this part of it, then we can keep going. Chris, man, you're coming with the questions. I mean, like you like our questions MVP.
Yeah, I love it. That makes me excited.
I know.
Okay.
All right, so let's see here. Where's my little outline here? So I can make sure I'm going about it the correct way.
You talk about your ideal client.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna go ahead and find my screen. Okay, you guys. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and define. I guess we're gonna go ahead and jump into like your ideal client, which is like defining or determining like who you are serving. Who do you want to buy from you, right? Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get my screen together and it's not working with me. Maybe that's because I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay. But yeah, just to go back, I remember like back when I started my organic smoothie juice bar, I literally wanted to target everyone. Like if there was anybody to target that was a man or a female, a child, a senior, they could have, no matter their background or their lifestyle. I was like, everybody needs a smoothie. Here, you get a smoothie, you need one. Like everybody needs a smoothie.
I need one.
Say it again.
I said, I need one.
Yeah. Like I feel like it fits everybody, right? Well, everybody may need a smoothie in their life, right? Everybody may need, a juice in their life. But quite frankly, it's still within the business. You still have to figure out, okay, who am I targeting exactly? Like where, who in my audience is going to benefit the most from my product? And with in my case, I had like a brick and mortar sort of. It was inside of a national gym, actually, you guys. But it was a brick and mortar as far as having its own infrastructure. But I had to figure out, okay, the people that are coming to get my juice or smoothie, who are they? Where are they coming from, or where are they going to? You know what I mean? How am I benefiting them in any kind of way? You know what I mean? Like what I have to account for many things, and you do the same thing. Even with the online business, you do the same exact thing, right? So understand like who your ideal client is, your who, right? So you figure that out in the beginning, or at least get an idea of it in the beginning. You already are putting yourself in a position to not waste any money or time or energy to cater to everyone. Because let me tell you, I spent, my mom can attest to this. We like had a menu of over like 40 to 50 different drinks options, right? We were like, oh yeah, give them all these options, and they all, there's nothing that they won't like. There's something on there for everybody. Wrong again. We changed the menu so many times. We basically narrowed it down so many times because we were literally with our heads cut off. Like it was just too much to manage, and not everybody was buying every single drink. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna realize there are staple products or there's staple services that you're gonna offer that everybody's gonna want, right? Same thing with my smoothie business. There were staple things that everybody wanted, and I had to figure that out. So save yourself like the time and the money and the energy, because I spent so much money on, making sure that all these drinks were catered to everybody's health and fitness and lifestyle and whatever, that money was just thrown out, time was just wasted and our energy was sucking. So narrowing down the who, I pretty much figured out, okay, this is who I'm targeting. 25, 35-year-olds with an active lifestyle, as a gym member. So they had to be a gym member. Well, they didn't have to be, but that was who primarily I was working with. I made an income of over $50,000. A lot of them made more than that. Majority of them made more than that because we were in a very affluent area. So once I determined who my who was, I was able to immediately develop the clarity that I needed to go on about my day-to-day efforts, right? So that's exactly what I need you to do today. Figuring out who your ideal client is, okay? One of the most amazing things that I've heard, it makes so much sense too when I thought about this with my organic smoothie juice business was that think about who you were 2 or 3 years ago. Who were you? What you know? What part of your where were you in your life? What did you need to know in that at that moment, right, to get you to the next step? That's who exactly your ideal client wants to know. That's who they are. They're you a year ago, maybe even like 6 months ago or 2 years ago, right? They want to know the exact same things that you are that you know currently. So you need to backtrack and go to the beginning. You go to where you were when you were just a baby, a baby entrepreneur, and figure out those concerns, those questions. Where did they research at? Where were they researching? Where online were they hanging out at? Like what were their favorite blog posts, or not blog posts, but their favorite people to look at for blog posts. Who influenced them? These are questions that I have in the worksheets as well, to you guys. You can definitely go through that and check those out, because they definitely can get you kind of already starting out as far as defining who your ideal client is, right? Some other questions you can ask yourself is social media platforms, where do they hang out at? Who are they talking to? Because that it shows exactly like, okay, this is who I'm targeting, but who are they looking up to already? Okay, maybe I need to restructure something on my end, or maybe I need to, reach out, figure out why they're not targeting me, or figure out, why there's a disconnect between them and myself. Thinking about their experiences or their backgrounds or their skills. What did you have back then? What kind of experiences, background, and skills did you have that you maybe lacked, or that you had that was of abundance, but you didn't have the outlet, or you didn't have the knowledge to expose it to the right audience, right? Yeah, go back, you guys. Think about all those questions that I have. They're really, literally, they're eye-opening. And once you really be detailed enough within yourself, you will find those characteristics that are common between all those questions that you've asked. And you will figure out your perfect ideal client. You'll give him or her a name, an age, a personality, some characteristics that you like, that you want within that person. That way, when you're having consultations with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I love Caitlin, I really want her to be my branding, and design a coach or whatnot, or to put on my website, right? And so when Caitlin meets with you consultation wise, she's gonna say, okay, check. I don't know about this. I don't really work with this person. But I will decide within the consultation if it best suits us, right? If it best suits him or her or in myself. Because that way you're not wasting time, their time or your time, on somebody that's flat out just not gonna live up to what you want as your ideal client, or that's not ready to make the moves, right? That's another thing, you guys. Spending your time on someone that's not ready to even make the moves, it's just, I don't even have the words to say it right now. It just totally defeats the purpose of everything that you built upon, right? All that, research that you've gotten before meeting with that client, you wasted that time now. So save yourself the time, the energy, and all that, and just and figure out that ideal client now. Get a good rough draft. That's totally fine. If you don't have a business yet, getting that rough draft together will totally help you as you're kind of going down the pace. Figuring out your what as far as your products and services, figuring out your why, your brand mission, which Keithl's going to talk about in detail later. Figuring out how you're gonna set up your business. I'm gonna talk about that a little later as well too. But getting that together right now, it will save you so much energy as you're going through these next few steps. Okay, you guys. Let me make sure I hit all my points.
Chris asked a question that I think relates to this. I can hear myself echoing.
Oh, you still echoing?
Yeah, let me unplug these.
Okay, let me see if I can find his question.
Okay. Does this work? I don't hear echoing anymore.
I hear background. Oh yeah, that does work. Okay.
That's better.
Say again?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's definitely much better, but I can't, I can't
I don't hear echoing.
Okay.
You can't hear? Okay.
No.
All right, sorry. I don't hear echoing either, so maybe it just needed to be unplugged and replugged in. Sorry about that. Anyway, okay, so Chris asked, is it okay to turn away business in the beginning if a customer does not share your values or just doesn't fit? And I say yes.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm going to start answering your question. Okay, I see it. Go ahead.
I say definitely. Oh, cool, it popped up. For me, I offer design services. I'll get into it when I'm speaking about.
Sorry, hold on one second, you guys. I think I did something silly. I'm trying to find the question again that he asked. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's still going.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I do design services, and I have a very specific client that I am trying to attract and trying to work with, and I don't want to take time working with someone that isn't in that realm of a client, because then I'm going to not be able to use that work to show on my portfolio and attract other clients, because I don't want to work with other clients like that. So I think it's overall kind of a waste of your time. If you have that really, specific client that you're going for and you're working with someone outside of that realm, like what benefit is that going to give you besides, maybe a quick paycheck, but we're thinking longevity here. It's not going to bring in more clients. If they're referring other people in their industry and you don't want to work with that industry, like that's not going to help you out. So I say, yeah, it's definitely good to know who you want to work with and stick to your guns about it. I mean, like I totally get like the client's client, money's money, but I'm thinking long term. I don't want to get in a rut working with people that, I don't know, just aren't going to be the kind of business I want to do.
So yeah, or as motivated and are as ready to take action when you're ready to take action, right?
Yeah. Like I don't want to be forcing someone, making them feel like, oh, you need to answer me about these logos, or you need to answer me about this. Like I want someone that's like pumped and excited and enthusiastic. And those are all qualities that I have that I know are my target client. Like they need to have those attributes, because I'm excited and I'm going to work and I'm going to be emailing you every single day with updates. So I want you to be just as excited to email me back with, responses and stuff. So, and I mean, I'm sure that you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you hit everything. Everything that I would say as well. So yeah, definitely turning away business in the beginning. It's probably worth it. But I will say this to you guys. Like even myself right now, I'm making sure that I'm trying to target different people in different areas of their business, and I don't want to basically have the same client all the time. So to be able to do that, then I may offer a consultation with somebody that may not fit it, just to see exactly why. But I wouldn't do it all the time. One time I learned my lesson. But just to see, okay, why am I not going to work with this client in the future? Or this type of client in the future. What about it that that doesn't sit well with what I am trying to accomplish with them, or within my business, right? So yeah, thinking about those things too is definitely smarter. If you want to play with it in the beginning, that's totally fine. I don't think nothing's wrong with that. But definitely figuring it out the first time and not doing it again and again is important.
Yeah, and Sarah makes a really good point. Like not only is it potentially bad for you and your business, but it probably won't be good for that person either. Oh, okay. I'm sorry it's not working, Stephanie. Thank you for coming by. But for Sarah's point, it probably won't be good for the client either. And you don't want them to be unhappy or them to give you a bad review or bad testimonial or something like that. And you don't want them to kind of have a bad taste in their mouth about you. It'd be much better to part on nice terms. I don't think this is going to be, a good working relationship, and go about your business and they can go about their business. Or better yet, you refer them to someone that you think might be a good fit. Now, if they're a red flag client, someone that is difficult, do not refer them to your friend, because that would be very rude. But if it's just someone that, they're a great person, but you just aren't working in, I don't know, creating ebooks about cat sweaters, maybe refer them to someone that that does work a lot with people that work with animals or something like that. So that was my example. Someone who knits cat sweaters. But yeah. So yeah, refer people. Perfect. Unless they're like just a super red flag, then don't refer them.
Yeah. Okay, I think that that was maybe the questions for that little section. I also wanted to know to you guys that I didn't mention that I did want to mention is that making your ideal client your best friend forever. Like you want to know everything about them. um, and you want to know, like everything that they, like and they don't like and whatever. You want to be able to, relate to them in that in that retrospect or whatnot. So, like for instance, if you're walking into a boutique and you expect it to be greeted by that the manager or the workers that works at that boutique, you don't expect them to say, "Hey everybody, how is everybody doing? What does anyone need today?" You know what I mean? You want them to say, "Hey, how are you? What do you need today? Are you looking for something in particular? We have this awesome sale." You want them to cater to you when you walk into that boutique. That's what your client wants to be catered to when they walk into when they present when they contact you for a service or for a product or invest their money into a service or a product, right? So think about that, you guys. You definitely want to make them your best friend forever so they can always be your best client forever, right?
I
All
agree.
right, you guys. Let me see. So yeah, go through those worksheets to be sure that you're kind of getting in the mindset of your ideal client and draw that person out. Make him or her really, really, really cute and really handsome. And figure out exactly like who that person is. It will definitely help in the long run.
Sarah has a
And
template. Do you see her comment about a template for red flag clients? That is so smart.
a template for oh yeah,
Like
like
for
wait.
what to say. That is such a good idea. I don't. I've only run into the situation once and it just kind of fizzled out. Like I think they knew that we weren't a good fit. And it just kind of fizzled out, which was fortunate because I was nervous about how to approach that. That's really good to create a template.
That is it's very smart, Sarah. Sarah's always coming up with some
Yeah,
smart
you're so
stuff.
smart, Sarah.
That's a good point though, because it's always hard, like when you're actually in the moment to say we're not a good
Yeah.
fit or whatever the case is. Like it's always hard to say that right then and there. So if you have something that's already kind of like, a script that's already kind of put
Yeah.
together, you feel more confident about it, and you know what to say, the right words to say and how to say it, right?
You know what it makes me think of? I don't know if this is a Florida thing or if these stores are everywhere, but do y'all know what Plato's Closet is where you bring your clothes?
Yeah.
So they have a script because I have gotten the script read to me many times where they're like, "We're sorry, though your clothes are in very good condition, they are currently not on trend, so we will not be purchasing any of them." And it's like clearly they have it memorized so that it's not awkward and it's just like very straightforward and to the point. But it's a script for like an awkward conversation where they're basically saying like, "Your clothes suck, we don't want them." So, so I think I think that's a really good idea. It's a really good idea.
That's funny. Your clothes look we don't want.
Because
Yeah,
that's
very, very
basically what
smart.
they're saying.
Yeah.
At least that's what they're saying to me. They're like, "Why did you buy this? This is
Yeah.
terrible." I'm like, "I thought it was cute, okay?"
And we don't want it, right?
Yeah, no, they're like, literally, no one's gonna buy this.
That's
Whatever.
hilarious. All
Anyway,
right, you guys.
sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I'm trying to make sure that was all that I had to pretty much say, and I think that was. I think that we are moving on to you, right?
Yeah. Um,
Yay.
so what I'm going to talk about is your one-line intro, and that kind of relates to a lot of the topics that Cress was bringing up. And basically, my one-line intro is how I introduce myself to y'all today, and I want you guys to kind of be thinking about, and you can definitely answer in the comments, how you introduce yourself to people. And I want you to be like honest about it. Not ideally how you introduce yourself to people, but actually how you introduce yourself to people. And then think about, do you make it clear to everyone what you do and why you do it? And
Sorry.
no, it's fine. And how you go about it. So if you want to answer in the comments, if you have that one line or if you actually use that one line, or if you'd like to use that one line, you should want to use it. But I'll go over mine again just so that in case you don't remember it. But I always introduce myself and say, "I'm Caitlin of the Crown Fox. I work with creative individuals and companies to create cohesive and clean branding to better their business and their online presence." So it answers like point by point. Here's my name. Here's my company. Here's what I do. Here's how I do it. Boom. So we're going to try and develop one for y'all. I think, yeah. We're going to try and develop one for y'all, or at least go over, I think I understand. Well, that's what happens, Chris. I think about, like, I sit down for a consultation with someone, like, they can be whatever, they can be a photographer or something. And I wait to hear if they're going to do it. So I say, oh, tell me about yourself. What do you do? And every single time, not even 9 times out of 10, it's like 9.5 times out of 10, they're like, oh, I'm Joe Schmo. I'm a photographer. I take pictures of weddings. Oh, and sometimes babies. And it's just like really uninspiring, and it's not exciting. Like, I'm not like, ooh, tell me more. I'm like, okay, like, you take pictures of babies, cool. So yeah, you haven't developed one yet. So I'm gonna go over how to do that. So, okay.
Fans are ready, guys. We're about to have class real quick.
So let me look at the little questionnaire thing. On the worksheet that I gave you guys, you don't have to necessarily do it right now, but maybe, be thinking about these questions, thinking about, like, do you get flustered when someone asks you to introduce yourself? Because having a one line will fix that. It'll help you with that mindset and that confidence boost, because it's just like, it's rehearsed, it's planned, you know what you're going to say. You're Joe Schmo. You are not Joe Schmo, Chris. You are Chris. Sarah, I love yours. Yours is super motivating.
And the awesome thing I want to point out real quick, Caitlin, is that Sarah, she redid hers. She had an awesome one before, but she really like defined hers much more than it was the first time, and that's totally fine. It's totally okay. You're gonna evolve as as you're going about your business. So even if you have like Chris said, a Joe Schmo one-liner, you can definitely beef that up real quick and have a nice Joe Schmo the Rock headliner, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Even if you don't have it all together right now, you can definitely like define that a whole lot more, and as you're kind of learning about your stuff and who you're serving and what you're serving and all that good stuff.
Exactly. And so I think about, like, I have this. I mean, this has never actually happened to me, but I have this example in my head that I think of, like, meeting someone who's like super powerful, like meeting some CEO of some Fortune 500, and him being like, hey, I'm John Smith and I run this business. And I'm like, hey, John Smith, I'm Caitlin of the Crown Fox, and I create, sorry, I mess up. I create cohesive and clean branding. And he's like, dang, I need that. Like, suddenly I'm in control. I'm offering something that he doesn't have or he doesn't know about. So he might be saying like, oh, I have this big fancy company, but what is that doing for me? Whereas I'm saying, hey, I have this company and I do this for people. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And let's talk about creating one. Oh, I had a Joe Schmo recovery, but that's okay. Anyways, so it gives you a confidence boost. It helps you, get that mindset right, feel confident, feel strong, feel powerful. And also it helps you in your business, because you have to have a good one line, you have to figure out your who, your why, and your how. So mine is, I am Caitlin of the Crown Fox. So that's just, who I am. And I work with creative individuals and businesses. So that's my who, to create cohesive and clean branding to better their business. So that's my why and my how. I have some templates in the worksheet for how you can kind of fill in, your who and your why and your how. And then talking about actually answering your who and your why and your how is a little more complex than that. So if you think about like why you're going into business, like you might be like, okay, I'm going into business because I want to make money. That's cool. But there's got to be a bigger reason. There's got to be a bigger motivation. So I work primarily with women, and I want to work primarily with women. I want them to be creative business owners, and I have the perfectly defined person because I am literally basing it off of my old boss. So she's, 10% DIY and 90% like, here's the keys, you figure it out, you do it, tell me how much it's going to cost, tell me when it'll be done. And she values high-end products, and she's willing to pay for them if she can see the value and know that she's getting it from someone that is efficient and the expert. So I want you to think about your target client in the same way. Like, I literally could tell you my target client is, her favorite color is purple. She eats sushi on the regular. Like, I know everything about her because I have her in my head. Like, I know who she is. I want you guys to be in that same position. Like, I'm
That's
talking.
the best friend.
What? Oh yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. Like we get our nails done at the same place. Like I was saying, like you need to like know them. Thank you.
It does. It does.
Well, cohesive, this is kind of a tangent, but cohesive branding is really important to me, and it should be to you too, because I want to be the same person on Instagram, on Twitter, on Periscope, even though I'm terrible at Periscope. I'm getting there. You know, I want to be the same person across all the platforms so that if you really like me on Twitter, you go to my website and it's the same girl. But that was a little tangent, sorry. Yeah, exactly. So you really need to define your one person, and what that will help you do once you know who you're targeting, who that person is, and you know every little thing about them, you can then create a brand identity and brand strategy. Yeah, it should be one story. I'm doing this like Periscope where I'm like answering the comments in the middle of talking. So it's probably not, that's probably not how you're supposed to do webinars. I'm sorry. Anyway, so you can create a brand identity and a brand strategy to like find these people, appeal to them, and bring them to you. So that should help, you know, we were talking earlier about turning away customers. That should really help kind of lessen the amount of people that you're getting that aren't your target client, because they shouldn't even be finding you. The people that you're targeting should be finding you. So for me, like I have this ideal person. I know, you know, everything about her. When I created like the aesthetic of my brand, that was in mind. Like it's fun. It's, you know, feminine. It's clean. It's like sophisticated. There's gold. It's kind of luxe. Like I want, you know, that high-end girl. And I offer services that are like comprehensive, because the person that's going to be my ideal client, they're not like, they don't want to do it themselves. So I have, you know, totally like from start to finish services. And then I also put out blog content that's like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Like, look at all these awesome points. I'm writing 2,000 word blog posts that are just like feeding you information, because my client's probably not going to read it and be motivated to go do it on their own, but they're going to read it and be like, dang, this girl's legit. So I want you to kind of think about those things when you're, I don't know, developing a strategy and everything like that, and developing, you know, how you're going to bring those clients in. So you'll get to that from developing your one-line intro. So think about your target client, get that in there, and then make sure you state them in your introduction. And then you want to also think about why you're going to help them, which, I mean, I can help you with that like in a one-on-one consultation, but really that's going to take some introspection on your part. Like you need to figure out what started this for you. Why did you want to take it and risk everything? I can't really answer that for you. I can tell you that saying you just want to make money isn't good enough. It needs to be.
I would say too, Caitlin, is that letting your story be your business, right? Letting your story, whatever gotten you, you know, in the past to where you are now, letting that develop within your business will definitely help with that part.
Yeah.
You know, Caitlin can define your story for you. You are your story. You have to express that and share that, and then, you know, find those common threads and say, oh, you know, like this makes sense now. And it's going to be like one of those moments like, oh, I get it. Or I'm accepting it now. And then letting that, you know, letting that story be everything else that you wanted to do within your business.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I did. I'm sure that's what a lot of people did as well too. You know, like if I didn't go through my first business as I did, then I wouldn't technically have this story to kind of share with you, or to express and to give you, you know, all the information that I know now. And I'm sure same with Caitlin. You know, she didn't have that awesome, you know, boss before. She wouldn't even have, you know, have an idea of who her ideal client may be, you know, per se, as of right now. So
yeah. And I mean, that's the thing with your why. Like, I can't give it to you. I can't just like give you. I can't just like tell you like, here's your why, but I can tell you like, okay, well, you know, when you first started blogging or whatever, what were you blogging about? Oh, okay. You know, when you first had this idea, like, why did you think this idea would be a good idea? Like, did you need something like this? And then that'll kind of get your mind thinking. And then you'll probably, you know, end up at this kind of why statement, like why I want to work with women, because I want women to be independent and powerful and not dependent on anybody else to pay their bills and to get stuff done. Because I want to be independent and powerful, and I don't want to pay like, I want to figure my life out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Think about that. Think about what initially sparked you and why you think that other people would benefit from it. Think about your target, and then think about what you're actually going to offer. The how for me seems the easiest. But if I know a lot of people, it really struggles, because you might offer a ton of things. It's probably better to narrow it down. I offer 2 packages, and I don't usually sell the first package because I can talk to people about why their website needs to be designed by me also. And it works great. I know, like, if you're like coaching, you offer the same package, but maybe the amount of time is different just to give, you know, price increases or whatever. I'm not offering everybody, like, even though I end up doing it, I'm not saying like, oh, I'll be your therapist and your best friend and you can call me whenever. And I don't offer all that for people. I will create your brand. And in that, we're going to talk and we're going to, you know, figure out your one line, and you're going to figure out your strategy. And it's very direct, and people don't get, what's it called? The paralysis when they have to choose anything. It's like, here's what I offer. Do you want it? Good. So I want you to use the worksheet and kind of fill out why you're going into business and who do you want to serve and how do you serve them. And then we can kind of fit it into this couple of templates or a couple of options, sample things that I made. And
yeah, those one-liners are key. Like, and then she gave you some awesome samples that is just like plug and play.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's any real questions that pertain to that.
I did see a couple that I wanted to that we should address. One Chris asked was, can we plan around perfectionism and procrastination? So yeah, can we plan around perfectionism and procrastination? And I say yes. Let me tell you, I am the queen, okay, of procrastination. Like, procrastination was like, I was born with that quality. Like, I was born to procrastinate, and I did it all the way through. I mean, I'm being so serious. Like, I remember my mom, my dad, like we were all doing like my fourth grade project, right? All at midnight, the day before it's due.
Exactly.
Like, that was me, and I kept that same thing. I kept it up all through, you know, grade school. And, you know, at the time, I didn't really know that I was procrastinating, but, you know, as you mature and get older, you figure that out. And then I realized that I was waiting because I wanted the right materials. I wanted to do it at the right time. I wanted to be sure that, you know, like, everything was kind of placed in its perfect place. And, you know, if I had the help, like my mom and my dad, to get it done or whatever. Like, I figured that out as I, you know, got older and looked back on things. And you can definitely plan around all that stuff. I mean, literally, it's really just about letting go of that mindset first, tackling that bad boy, getting that, you know, false stuff out of your mind, and then action, like getting it done. You know, whatever it is that you just don't, you know, that the first thing that, you know, the thing that makes you scared the most or fearful the most, do it first. You know, do it and just start it, get it out the way, put it out there, you know, let people know on Twitter or, you know, Periscope or whatever, and say, you know what, I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna have it pre-launched to you, you know, in 2 weeks. So, and the next thing you know, people are gonna, you know, looking out for that book. So now you have the momentum that you need, and also the people behind you to back you up, saying, where's that book at, Chris? You said you have that book from me in 2 weeks, or that you know, at least to buy it from you in 2 weeks. And then, so you're doing stuff pages, right? You're getting your you know, your cover probably done for your book. You know, you're doing those things so that you can already, in 2 weeks, you can have something to show that I've made it work. You know, I've gotten that done. Now that you're going to say, okay, you can definitely buy my pre-launch book. It's going to be ready, you know, in 2 months, at the beginning of 2016. And then now you're busy. Now you're busy writing that book because you now have made a goal to yourself and to, you know, people that's looking to you to get it done. And that's how you plan around perfectionism and procrastination: getting it done, planning it out, doing it, and making it known. You know, speaking it into existence, and so that you can hear it come out your mouth, and the next person can hear it come out your mouth as well. All right. I think that's kind of, I hope that answers your question.
I think another one that Chris asked about, how do you remain confident about your service offering when it feels like you're not making it? My question.
Let me click on that one really quickly.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So my question to you in answering that is what you're offering, are you 100% certain that you are targeting people that are going to buy what you're offering? So if you're offering branding services and design like I am, and I'm spending all my time, you know, talking in Facebook groups to people that don't need that, people that are beyond that are established already, that aren't like startup, you know, getting their feet wet, then I'm never going to bring clients in because they don't need me. They're 10 steps ahead of me in what I offer. So I would say remaining confident, like, you know that you're offering good stuff. Like, you know that you can back up what you're offering. Like, you have that confidence, you have that mindset already right. So maybe the approach of how you're getting people is what the problem is. And if it's not, Oh, it like popped up on here. That's so strange. Did you see that? Sarah's comment just popped up like on the screen, like you were answering it or something.
Oh, maybe because I clicked on something. Oh, is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Uh-oh. Where did it go? Okay, good.
So I hope that maybe helps you, Chris. And then, if it's not, if you think that it might actually be like the services are the issue and you're getting, the same type of people, if those people are really coming to you and you're liking working with those people, then maybe it's time to adjust your services. But I'm having a feeling that it's probably the approach to the people is what the issue might be. And so like, for me, I target people that are kind of getting started. And I'm in Facebook groups for people that are getting started, because when I say, hey, I do brand development, they're like, oh, I need that, I haven't got that done yet. That's on my to-do list. That's a mile long. So I guess maybe think about that and hope that kind of answers it for you.
And an awesome quote too, that actually I was on a call with Fab. I can't say her last name. I think it's like Giovanetti or something like that. I can't remember, so I don't want to screw it up. But she's awesome. She's a coach and things like that too. But she told me this quote, and I was like, I love it the way you put it. It's simple, you guys. Fake it until you become it. So simple. Like you fake it, you fake that confidence, right? You just put that, like put whatever makes you feel confident, wear that outfit or fix your hair that certain way, put those glasses on, and you fake it. You fake it until you become it. And it's not like you're faking. It's not like you're having you're putting on a show for someone. You know what I mean? Like you're not being dishonest or what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but you're not being dishonest. When to your clients or to your audience, you're really just saying, I'm not that confident yet, but I'm going to act like I am because that's what I need to show. That's who they want. They want to invest their money and their time in someone that's confident in what they do, and who they are. It's like like I remember when I used to perform and do like acting and dancing and whatnot. Like I got those butterflies all in my tummy, before I did, and I was sweating and nervous and like and palm sweating, all that stuff. And then as soon as you get on stage, it's like like you don't feel any of that because you automatically you put on, like you have that you have your face on, right? You have the outfit on, you have the audience looking at you, right? Waiting for your moment to shine. And that same thing that your audience is looking for you as well. They want to see you shine. They're ready for the spotlight to be on you and you to give them what they want. So you put on that, put on that face and fake it till you become it.
Yeah. And I think for me at least, and I hope for, clients that I go over this with and for y'all, if you start to develop your one line, like that for me is like the confidence thing. Because as soon as I say that, I'm like in that persona, like I'm in that mode. If I like come up and I'm like, oh, I can make you some branding stuff, whatever. Like I feel unconfident. Like I feel like I'm not good enough to do it. If I'm like, here's what I do and I do it good, like boom. And then like the ball's in their court. Like you have presented yourself and you look confident. And even if you're inside, you're like sweating and shaking, like having that one line is like, like powerful. So yeah, I agree with that. Fake it until you make it.
Perfect. And I think the rest of these can be asked a little later. Yeah, I think the answer these a little later. Okay, so you want to were you still giving your spiel? I'm sorry.
No. We can move on to the last part. I think we're probably approaching the hour mark, so we should probably start to go over that last little bit.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get out that business checklist notes, you guys. We're gonna ramp it up and get some. Oh, now I have to find my checklist. I had it up, but then I took it down. All right, yeah. So this is like the business setup 101, right? This is like some basic stuff that you may want to consider and do. Some of them you may not have to do for your business to go ahead and get that foundation started, right? All right, so let me see. All right, so One thing, this is something I want you to also think about and start maybe implementing some of these things for our next mini class, okay? Because we're gonna go, it'll be, be more, you'll have more detail then. Okay, so bullet number one, all right, is brainstorm your business name. So start thinking of some names for your business if you don't have one currently. Or your website even, or a product or service, whatever it is. I'm just kind of giving you an overall like big picture business view of this, but to start thinking of those names, right? So for your business name, some points that I want to make is keep it specific. And I say that like if for instance, like my website, for instance, carissalene.com, right? And that I made it that because it's me, like I'm the face of my website. If it was my smoothie juice bar, I would say Simply Organic Smoothies. That was the name of, that's specific enough to what I was giving my audience, right? So keep it specific to whatever your product or your service is, or maybe use your own name. I wouldn't go trendy, whatever trendy names are these days. I wouldn't go that route because they fade, and people are gonna be like, 2 years from now, people may say like, well, who is that again? And they may not remember because it was something that happened 2 years ago, right? Or is a name or an event that happened 2 years ago. I would find names that you like and make a list of those names, like other business names, other website names, other blog names, whatever that you like, and make a list of those names and see what you like about them. So go through it and see, oh, I like this name because it combines two names in one and it makes it, look cool or whatever. Or it's a play on words, right? Or whatever it is, find those things that you like about it and make it, figure out how you can incorporate those same ideas with your name. Keep it social friendly. So what I mean by that is that make sure that whatever your name is, you want to keep it consistent throughout every social platform. Which, by the way, you guys, Periscope just doesn't like me because it has not changed my name yet. It's been over a month, and I've asked them, like, emailed them a bunch of times, even tweeted them, and they have not changed my name yet. So that's my only hiccup with that. But everything else, though, you want to keep it consistent with every social platform. You want to be sure to make sure that, like Twitter, for instance, your name can fit within those Twitter characters, right? So if your name is too long, you may want to figure out a way to maybe squish it together, not squish it, but to confine it so that it can fit, between Twitter, but to also look the same on Facebook and on Pinterest and on Periscope or wherever else you're on. Also check to see if someone else has your name. There's an awesome website for that, you guys, and I didn't write that website down. But I'm gonna look for it later, you guys, and then I'll maybe send it out in our email later about it. But there's an awesome website you can look for your name and it searches all the social media platforms out there, YouTube, Tumblr, every platform out there. It searches for. So like when I did my name, Carissa.com was already taken because Carissa.org was already taken because that's a shoe company. Who knew that I had shoes? But so I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. So I had to figure out, okay, what else can I say? How can I put, my name? It's still in my business, right? And then to also think about, is your name identical to someone else's? Because that could be very confusing, right? If you're Joe Schmo, as Chris said, then there's a lot of Joe Schmoes out there. So you may want to figure out a way to make it unique, but simple and specific still. And also, I'll stay away from periods, from hyphens, if you can, from random initials and numbers in your name, because quite frankly, looking up like www. Carissa123 ABC dash underscore, it's confusing. Nobody's gonna remember all that. So if you can set up from that, you can, or make it to where it's it's very easy to remember or to see, it's catching to the eye, then that's fine. All right, so that was the first bullet, to your business name, brainstorm some business names. Your next one is to determine your business entity. And what I mean by that is figuring out exactly how you're going to present yourself to the IRS and to the government when you're ready to make money.
Knows you.
Say it again.
How the government knows you.
Yeah, exactly. To the IRS and all the good stuff too, like sole proprietorship. That's like the basic one, and that's okay to start off with. As you make more money, as you maybe hire employees, as you do some cool investments or whatever, you may want to incorporate your business. So do like a corporation, a partnership. doing like a LLC or a S corp or whatever. Those are things that you may want to look into as you become more invested within your business. And I will say one of the big difference between a sole proprietorship and incorporated business like an LLC or whatnot, is that your value, your assets are attached to you in a sole proprietorship. So if you happen to get sued for something, or somebody didn't like something and you treated them a certain way, so they want to sue you, they can not only sue for your business, they can sue for your car, and your house, and your boat, and your home out in the water somewhere. So be mindful of that. You have those awesome real estates. You want to put those. You may want to secure that within LLC. And I think only thing with LLC that I've ever heard of from an accountant is that it's much more expensive and a little bit more difficult to get in California. But that's something you talk to your accountant or text somebody about, or a lawyer about. A lawyer about more in detail. So that's something to think about. All right, so the next bullet would be to file for your EIN. Okay, so you can just simply go to Google and put an EIN and it'll come up. And it stands for Employer Identification Number. This is definitely important if you're going to hire employees, if you're going to, now mine just went blank again. It's important, you guys. And it also is used to have like some business credit. So per se, like in the future, if you need to make this speaking trip, right, or do whatever it is for your business, you have to invest some money, maybe a little bit, and you don't have the funds right away, then you may want to start maybe building on some business credit. I didn't say go in debt. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that you just to build up on your credit as a business itself, as a sole business, like separating yourself from your business. You have to build some credit to be worthy enough for creditors to lessen their risk, or to give you a credit card or a charge card or whatever route you go. So file for your EIN number. It's so simple and so easy, you guys. You literally go to the website, spend 5 minutes and filling everything out, and you're done. Next bullet would be opening up a business bank account, personal and savings account. Because personal, you're going to use that. You're going to use that for all your expenses and whatnot. Savings, you're going to use that. You're going to save that bad boy. So you're going to save that for tax time. You're going to save it for, any type of emergencies that you may have that you didn't account for. You're going to save it for, whatever you need to save it for, but you're going to make sure that that money is secured and out the way. Whether you take 30% off for taxes, whether you take 50% off just to be safe, you're going to just save it and keep that there. And separating the two is very important. This is a very important step because you don't want to be in the moment where you have to all of a sudden get a big account and you already commingle funds in your personal account. It's so hard to differentiate the two when it comes to the IRS. So you don't want your money to be in that mix, right? So doing that is very important. Okay. Also, another thing too, you can have an online bank account, you guys. So there's online bank accounts. If you're online business and you don't have to necessarily go to the bank to deposit money, then an online account can be just as great. And watch out for those little pesky fees too, in a minimum balances, so they can be tricky. So the next bullet is open up a PayPal business account, and even a PayPal.me account. So that's PayPal.me, because it's not really, it's an account attached to your already business account, but it basically gives you a link that if you need to send to someone to pay you, they go directly to that link and they already can pay you right there. Like, it's really simple. So that's an option as well too. The next bullet is to register your name with the local county clerk office, which is a DBA name, doing business as. And that's like really cheap, you guys. It's a small fee, but it's really cheap. And you want to already have an idea of where you want to start at as far as your entity goes. Like, so if you're gonna do sole proprietorship, you're gonna need to tell them that. If you're gonna do LLC, everybody has to be there for an LLC or for a partnership, right? So you just want to keep that in mind. And also just call them. Google their local county clerk office. Literally go to Google, put in like Houston, put in Sacramento, put in wherever county clerk office, and it'll pull up the one closest to you. Call them or look on their website and figure out exactly what they need from you. And use your business account that you set up already or your PayPal account, business account even, to pay for that purchase. And another thing too is to go ahead. The next bullet is to go ahead and establish your accounting software. So Wave Apps is free. You can start off there and just get it set up for just in case, right? Xero is Xero. That's another one you can definitely use. FreshBooks is another one that's very, very popular. And then you have QuickBooks, which is it's really detailed in there. I don't recommend that starting off, you guys. I'm letting you know that just in case. But if you ever have like a bunch of employees or a bunch of inventory or whatever the case may be, QuickBooks may be the way for you. But Wave Apps is free and you can totally use that. Xero is a small charge, and Fresh was a small charge as well. But those are really like the top one. And also look into any licenses. The next bullet, look into any license certifications that you may need for your business. A lot of them that we're working with, we may not need anything, but maybe you're doing a credit business, like with establishing people's credit, or you're doing like a credit and debt business that needs a license, and that needs some type of insurance with that. So check just to be sure, and go to your city's website. So whatever city you're in, go find their website, go to there, and see exactly what they require per their standards. Also, a great resource is SCORE. So you can go to SCORE Houston if you're in Houston, for instance, or score.org, and it has, literally that website is filled with awesome resources to look into. So, even to give you an idea of what your entity is, or EIN number is, or bank accounts to go with, it gives you good detail. Lastly is insurance. Insurance, it's a bunch of insurances that you can choose from, like, liability, a short-term disability, or, general something, product insurance or whatever. Because, something may happen, God forbid, something may happen to you that you can't sustain your business for 6 months, right? How are you going to survive? You know what I mean? How are you going to keep going? So thinking about short-term disability may be important to you, right? Thinking about, some type of fund to put away just for that time may be important to you. Okay. All right. So just to kind of write off those bullets again, it was the brainstorm a business name, determine your business entity, file for EIN number, open a business bank account, look into a PayPal business account, register your name with the local county clerk office as a DBA name, establish an accounting software, check for any licenses or certification that you may need with your city, and also check into insurance that you may need for your business. Whew!
Chris asked what % should we aim to save for the business money, which I think he's saying, like, what should he pay himself versus
what % should we aim to save for the business money? Tell me again what you mean by that, Chris. Like, I want my name.com, bit more money, but great lookup engine. Oh, okay. It's another one though that's free. I can't remember exactly. I have to find it. Bye Danielle. She's already gone. But Sheila, what did you need me to repeat again? I'm sorry. I know I can talk pretty fast. Sorry. But Chris, I'm going to answer the question that I'm thinking you're probably saying. I don't know, but a good percentage may be used to save. Maybe is what you're asking. Is a good way 50% of what you're making and put that to the side, but to also pay yourself something out of the 50%. How much of the income should we put aside and save? Yeah, okay. So like if you make it, if you make it $5,000 in something that you sold, then you may want to put away $2,500 of that. And let 30% of the total be for taxes, because that's exactly what it's going to be out of. Like they're going to look at the $5,000 that you made, and you're going to say 30% of that and put towards taxes. Usually, it's a good ballpark. And it may be over. That may be too much, but it's always good to be too much than to be too little, right? And then you take 50% of the remaining balance and put that for yourself, because you want to pay yourself still. Like that's a mistake that I made with my first business. I never paid myself. I literally paid myself pennies, and it was hard because like spending all your time doing this business and you don't have anything to show for it, as far as even like eating a good meal, or going out to a movie when you need to relax. That's important, you guys, to cater to yourself sometimes, to put that money to the side. It's so important. So 50% off the bat, 30% goes to taxes, and then the remaining goes to you. Yeah. And then accounting software was Wave Apps. I'm going to type it in here. WaveApps.com. Mm-hmm. That's a free one that I talked about. I probably could show you this on my screen.
When you're talking about like how to kind of divvy up the money. What was I just going to say? I had a brain melt for a second.
Brain fart, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say that you it might be wise, especially if you are doing a lot of like service based business, to keep track of your hours the same way that you would at a 9 to 5. I keep track of my hours in 15-minute increments because that's how I've always had to do it at my traditional 9 to 5 job. And that really helps me for a lot of reasons. A, I know if I'm using my time wisely, if I'm allotting my time in good ways, if I can be more efficient in something. And B, it helps kind of not protect myself because I've never been like attacked, but it helps me have an answer if a client says, oh, why did this take so long? And I can say, well, here's the breakdown of what took this long. And I look prepared and I look confident, and it just kind of helps me be like, more professional. So it might be wise when you're thinking about money and everything like that to keep track of your time so that when the time comes that you need to pay yourself, you can see, tracking hours is great. You can see, how much you should pay yourself. Like, how many hours did I work? Work 40 hours this week. Let's pay accordingly. And maybe, your hourly wage isn't a lot right now, but maybe it'll be a lot down the line. Or not maybe, definitely. It will be a lot down the line.
Definitely.
Definitely. So do you want to do any other questions that we see in there?
Yeah, I put a little thing in there in the chat box. I want to kind of say it too. Shoebox.com is an awesome thing. This like receipt holder thing. So they have awesome things you can use with on their website to maintain those receipts, because you don't want to have a shoebox full of receipts. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it, right? It's horrible. It's horrible. This would be important for me as I'm launching a clothing line. Yes, that's exciting. That's exciting.
That's awesome. But save every receipt. And you know what? There's a lot of great resources out there. I know there's a ton of great blog posts. I know there's one on the Nectar Collective, and I'm sure, quick search will help you. Maybe I'll write one soon coming up. But things receipts that are not receipts, but things that you can write off. Like, you buy a course, you can write it off. For your clothing line, fabric and time, the sewing machine and all of that, you can write it off. So keep in mind that a lot of the things that you're using in your business, you want to hold on to just every receipt, every little, dime that you spend, because come tax time, it's only going to help you.
Yes, it is. Also, something I want to point out too. That goes on mine. Okay.
Let's check to see some other questions, and then
let's go through those really quickly.
So
that we can wrap up this time, so we're not taking away your whole Saturday morning.
For that top one, what's one thing you wish you'd known when you first started?
Okay, let me go to that one real quickly. Sorry, I kind of switched screens here.
I don't know if I can just pick one thing, to be honest. There's 100 things I wish I would have known.
Can you click start sharing on your end?
What do you want me to do?
On the question. Can you click start sharing on your end or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, just go ahead and do it. What's the one thing that you wish you known when you first started?
I struggle to pick one.
Yeah, I have a bunch of guys for real, and this was Stephanie. I think she stepped out earlier, but Stephanie, you do watch it, or anybody that's wondering, I think one thing that I wish I've known was to definitely what's important, like I mentioned earlier, is like getting my mindset together. Honestly, you guys, I mean, like, there's no way that I think if I would have got that together with my first business, automatically like done, and I would have figured out and recognized my own faults and lived up to it and all that good stuff, that I would have already paved the way for a successful mind for business, right? And also to having those things that I kind of list off to you, and some more things too in order before as well. I did a lot of that stuff, of course, before, but there's some things that I didn't. Like, I had to shoebox of receipts. That's something that you can't come back from that. Like, you have that shoebox and keep growing, and it's gonna be ridiculous. So yeah, that's definitely something that I would make sure that checklist that I kind of ran through real quickly, to make sure that that's in order as best you can in the beginning. And it's a lot of stuff is free or very, very inexpensive, you guys. So you can definitely find ways to kind of make that work. Caitlin.
Well, I think what you're getting at can be kind of summed up in that if you approach it from the get-go like a business, like it's not, do not let it be a hobby. Do not let it be something you're hoping works out. Like, no, it is a business, and you are investing time and money into making it awesome and successful, and you're doing everything that you possibly can, learning and, you know, following through with everything that you possibly can to be there, because you don't want to be, you know, 6 months, a year down the line, and yeah, like things are going great, but you don't know where your money is, or you don't know how to find and email things to your subscribers, because their lists are all over the place of people that have subscribed to different things that you've offered. Like, you want to be organized and meticulous and treating it like a business, and I think that will help you out big time.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the next question, what's your favorite place to find new clients? Favorite place to find new clients. I definitely think that I've actually found a few of them through Periscope, which has been super cool. Which is making me become more, making me have a strategy with Periscope for sure. And then I found, I think Caitlin can attest to this too, Facebook groups.
Yes.
And she mentioned earlier, like, you know, people are looking for design and branding like all the time in Facebook groups, or even for like random questions that they may ask. And you know, you may hear them say or see a question like, how, you know, I'm a perfectionist, so how do I get over that? Or what can I, you know, plan out today for my business tomorrow, whatever the case may be. You may have an answer to that. Like, I've answered so many questions and it's probably been like ridiculously long answers, but you already put yourself in a position of authority when you answer those questions. Like, people are gonna now look at you and say, oh, she's talking about some good stuff over here. You know what? She knows what she's talking about. She's probably been there before. He's probably, you know, already kind of been down this road, so I need to keep an eye out on him. You know what I mean? Now you have a new follower on Twitter and Periscope and Facebook, or your Facebook page or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of, I think that's favorite places to find new clients for sure would be those areas.
Yeah, Facebook groups for sure. And, you know, they do, so many of these Facebook groups do, you know, promo Tuesdays and loving each other Wednesdays or whatever they do. And like, it when you look at it, if you're not like one of the first posts, you're like, oh, there's like 300 comments on here, like my post is going to get lost in the shuffle. But usually they say, you know, go back and interact on people. So I do that. I follow like the instruction that says, you know, comment on the 5 people above you, whatever. I do it and I see a return on that, because now I've commented on their website and people are on their website and they see my comment and they see my website, and I tag them, you know, all my comments, Caitlin from the Crown Fox, with a link. And I'm getting traffic from that. So, you know, using Facebook groups and using the tools that are put out on them, and then being interactive with people brings in business for sure.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that 100% for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Oh wait, that's me. I was going to open and close it so that it's not answered. Okay. How should you approach pricing? Okay, hey, how should you approach pricing? Is there a formula you use? Is it okay to fear overpricing? It's not okay to fear over anything, Chris, for sure. But pricing is one of those things, like, you know, it's hard to kind of pinpoint when you're just starting off, and I get it, I understand. Something that I'm actually doing now is, like I mentioned earlier a little bit, is that my services are pretty low right now. They're as low as they're ever going to be, because you know, because I want to be sure that I can, like I said, cater to the people, the ideal clients that I want to cater to, but also get some people in there that I want to just test out the waters. And so that someone is coming to me, is not expecting to spend $600 an hour to talk to me, and they don't even know me, you know, from, you know, the next person. You know, they don't know me any more than they know the next consultant or business strategist or whatever the case may be, right? So is there a formula that you use, Caitlin? I don't think that I use, well, okay, I would say this though. If you have something that's very specific as far as processes go, for instance, like if you are, like even for me, for instance, if someone wants a consultation with me, then of course I have to do, they contact me, then they have to fill out a questionnaire, and then I'll have to do a quick, you know, like audit of their questionnaire and figure out more questions to ask, or how, you know, how else can I benefit them or their goals, whatever the case may be. But that's time, you know, that's putting in time right there. It's probably 30 minutes of time right there, right? So being prepared for the consultation, and then consultation happens in maybe 30 minutes or an hour and a half, or however long. And then after that, I do, you know, audits, and then I do, you know, homework, and then I give them homework, and I give them, you know, worksheets or whatever the case may be, and then we figure out plans together. All of that should be a part of like your pricing formula. And to even give like a price for each step will definitely can help. You know what I mean? So consultation, how much is like the bare minimum? Think about how much you will make per hour at a job. $20 an hour, $50 an hour. How much you think you deserve, right? And then make that your price point. And then researching how much, or auditing, how much time did you need for that? And then whatever else, like build upon that. And then you have like, now you have a good solid price to use. And you can kind of play with that. You know what I mean? You fit it to where you are in your business currently, and how you want to be received, as how you want your audience to receive you.
Yeah. And then another point to add to that is another good reason to keep track of your time is that you can, decide on that hourly rate, and then, your client doesn't know, you're not billing them hourly. Maybe you're probably not billing them hourly, but you can say, it's going to take me on average 30 hours to do this. I charge X amount per hour, multiply it out, and then, tell them that price. And I know for me, when I first got started, I did that. I talked about how many hours it was going to take me to do things, and what, I've had gotten paid in the past for jobs per hour. And the number was big. And I was like, I don't want to charge this. This is scary. I don't want to say like, okay, it's going to cost you, $2,000. Like, that's terrifying to say to somebody when you're starting. But you don't want to undersell your work either. So I have lowered my prices for the beginning, but I have a plan for raising them, incrementing them up. Because if you undersell your work, I mean, I don't know if anyone else does this, but if you undersell your work, I think people will maybe value you less. I think we were talking about this example when I went to go buy windshield wipers, and I don't know anything about windshield wipers or cars or whatever. And the guy was like, oh, well, there's these ones that are like the cheap ones, and then there's these ones that are like really expensive, but like it doesn't really, like, we don't have like snow or anything that you're like wiping off of your windshield. He's like, so these ones will probably be good for you. And he pointed to the cheap ones. He's like, oh, or we have these ones. These ones are pretty good. They're in the middle of those. And I was like, well, I don't want to get the cheap ones. Like, I want these to last. So I want them to like work. So I got the middle tier ones. So I guess kind of think about that when you're doing your pricing. You don't want to be the cheap one and undersell yourself, and people see you as cheap or see you as not as good as the next guy or whatever. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm the only one that got suckered into buying the middle tier windshield wipers.
No, I did the same thing.
You don't want to be the cheap one. You don't want to undersell yourself. And I think
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So awesome. All right. So the next question: how can we get support without having to pay for it? And I'm guessing you mean like maybe like pay for. I mean like Facebook ads. Is that kind of what you're saying, Chris? As far as like putting yourself out there without having to pay for Facebook ads, or like a coach or like a mentor type of support? I think. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one, but I will say this: like, support comes as much as you put out there. Like, you can get some support as much as you want if you put yourself out there. Like, you know, I'm in like a little side group with Sarah and a couple other ladies, and I reached out to them. I reached out to Nora to be frank, and I said, hey, I want to be in your site group, you know, and I want to be in your mastermind group. So, you know, is there room for me? I gave her a good description of who I was and where I was coming from, what I wanted to do, and you know, definitely sold myself, you know, to her so that she can see that I'm not here. I'm not, you know, I'm not just trying to get in here to, you know, fiddle around. I'm serious, and I'm gonna, you know, be a part of this group. And so yeah, I put myself out there. I was scared as heck, because I remember writing the email early that morning. I sent it to like the next day because I wasn't sure, you know, if I said the right words and whatnot. But yeah, putting yourself out there to making sure that you're worth it. You know what I mean? And that you're gonna get that in return. People are gonna see that and support you along the way.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm assuming you mean like kind of the mental support, you know, like the group or the tribe or whatever. And like the minute, like the night that I got on my first Twitter chat, Insta connections, Insta people.
That's so true. Yeah.
No, I should actually say, before I did Twitter chat, I did a Periscope. I got on Nora Conrad's Periscope, and they were doing Accountability Mondays, and I was like, Periscope looks terrifying, like da 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 da. And then they convinced me to do one, and Sarah walked me through how to do it because I had no idea. It was my first time opening the Periscope app. And now like these are people that I feel like supported by, and I feel like I can, you know, ask them questions, and they talk to me, they know my name, like all this stuff. And so I feel like if you're putting out that kind of energy and you're like reaching out and trying to connect with these people, it's just going to come back to you, and they're going to, you know, care about you and what you're doing and your successes and stuff like that. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, I think you said it really well. Like getting support is a lot to do with giving support also.
Perfect. All right. So the next question is, which should you start with first, a product or a service? And I say both.
Yeah, do it all. I mean, it really
Yeah.
depends on what your how is and like why you're starting your business. Like it does come down to what you actually want to be your business. But
Yeah, for
do
sure.
it all.
Yeah, because I feel like you can start off with a service, a stellar service, consulting, coaching, you know, a strategy meeting, whatever it is that you do, and um, then have a service to back it up. You know, like a book or a, you know, a worksheet, something, or a workbook, or you know, any a product to back it up, not service,
Yeah.
a product to back it up, but you know, something to even give you the credentials upon whatever else that you have. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely say do both, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
I mean, for like specifically, I think for us, we're both service based, but seeing enough of the same situation repeating itself and dealing with clients and seeing their same concerns over and over again kind of makes your mind start thinking about products that could help, you know, a multitude of people instead of individually helping each client. So I think, and it might be the same. I mean, if you start product based, you might end up going back to doing like services because you see, you know, you want to interact with someone one-on-one or something like that. So I think,
yeah,
I think it goes hand in hand.
and also something that I'm going to incorporate soon, excuse me, is I'm going to have small like products to sell, like really cheap. I say cheap, but it's not going to be cheap, but really inexpensive products. Like a short ebook, you know what I mean? That's specifically like niche down to a certain topic, you know. Some videos that you may want to purchase because they are super filled with awesome stuff, right? Or something that people can purchase under $20 that they can just kind of like get going with stuff, because they can't purchase, maybe they can't afford, you know, a full course right now, or whatever the case is. So that's something to think about as well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so the next question. What's the best way to approach potential customers or businesses? Well,
Facebook groups. Can I just say Facebook groups are everything? Because it's Facebook groups.
They are. Even like Twitter chat, like you mentioned earlier, I forgot about Twitter chat. Like that, like literally, I saw like my page views increased and everything because of Twitter chat. So that's important too. But the best way to approach potential customers or businesses, I say like,
Oh, I think I misunderstood. He means like actually talk to them, not just like find them, right? Like
in the
how do you
question,
approach offer? Yeah, how do you approach your? Oh, I have a good answer for that. By offering your expertise for free, like by saying like answering those questions in Facebook groups, like you don't like you need to just put out there that you are the person to come to, that you are the person that can solve their problems for free. And then when they start to see you as that expert and see you as that expert multiple times, you're going to be the first person they think of when they need, you know, whatever it is that you're offering. So like I answer people's design questions, or like if they say like, oh, you know, like how does my blog look, or how does this look? I answer like all that stuff in Facebook groups, so that at some point when someone reads those comments and they're like, dang, I really need to do a brand redesign, they're like, that girl Caitlin, she was like on her game, you know, she knew what she was talking about. So that's how I approach it, by giving away a lot of stuff for free.
Said well. All right, so Caitlin, this is for you, girl. What is a brand designer?
So it's like people like it's a buzzword. That's what it is. But
yeah.
but how I approach brand designer and what I think a brand designer is someone that is not just throwing together a logo. I can crank out a logo for you in 10 minutes. It will do nothing to help your business. It will just be something that's cool to look at, and that is it. A brand designer, on the other hand, is someone that is accounting for strategy, accounting for your end goals, accounting for who your target client is, accounting for why you, like, they want to know everything about you and your business and where you want to go with your business, and they're going to take that information and put that into actually creating, the logo and the website and the newsletter and all that stuff. So I think being a brand designer or being, someone that does branding or whatever versus being like a graphic designer that can make logos, they all have the same skills, I guess, but making sure that you're working with someone that does consider themselves and offer you services that are, comprehensive, that they are a brand designer, that they're not just whipping out a logo or like, throwing a template from Etsy on your website and calling it a day. Like you want someone that is fully immersed in understanding of what your goals are and how you want to go about getting there, so that they can create something that'll complement that or, make it even better. Does that answer that?
Just like that.
I hope that helps clarify.
Okay, let me go to the next one. All right, so is a mentor or coach a valuable resource to have? I think we pretty much talked about this in the class already. And Stephanie offered some good advice too, because I know she has one. I say yes. And I was late first business. I didn't have one until like way late. And I was like at the point to where like, what's the point of having one now? But I mean, even no matter what stage you are in your business, you may want to even like, I remember I was watching what's her name, Hillary Rushford on Periscope yesterday. Follow her because she has some awesome like this series that she's talking about how she went from $200,000 to $1 million in a year. And she gives like specific stuff, like it's really good stuff. But anyway, she talked about how she was at the point in her business when she hired on like an accountant finally. She was at the point in her business to where he was like, listen, you're not gonna make it another month. You're gonna have to do some things like now to get to where you want to be or to make it the next month. And so she had to invest in some people. She had to hire VAs and hire accountants and hire a coach and do those things to make sure that her business, sustained. And that's how that's pretty much what she summed up to be how she got into where she's at now. So I definitely think it's very important, even if it's something very small, like maybe you can invest in a mentor coach right now, but maybe you can, even offer a service for them so they can invest in you, so they can, coach you for free. Like you may be awesome at like branding or social media management or whatnot. Say you can do that for them and say, I would love to be, I'd love for you. I'm all about this. I can do these things. I'm good at this. I'm perfect at that. I can show you my, past whatever that I've done. And I have all this to back me up. And I would love to barter with you and offer in exchange for your services, exchange for you to coach me once a week, once a month, whatever it is. So that, I'm doing for you as you're doing for me, right? Kind of thing. That's actually what I was going to do with Maya Elias from MayaElias.com. I reached out to her, which is scary, and I offered that as well. But the only thing is that she's awesome. She's a great, great, great woman, and it was going to happen and everything. But I started to get so busy in my business that I wouldn't have time to put towards like, the time that I need to put towards her. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to start off anything like that. So I just, told her that it wasn't going to work right now. I couldn't do it right now and I reached out to her, right. And I canceled it, but she's very understanding about it. And, but yeah, that goes to show that it can happen. I can reach out to somebody that's ahead of you, 2 steps even, and ask them for their advice and get on a Skype call with them every month to make sure that you're on the right track.
Yeah. People, people like knowing that what they're doing is working and that they have people that follow them, people that are like, fans or whatever, for lack of a better word. So I think, expressing that is a good idea. Even if you're not trying to work out a deal, but just expressing that in general, is a good idea, just as a general rule. Like on Twitter, if you see something awesome, like tell them it's awesome. And then down the line, if there's something that can happen between y'all relationship wise, they already know who you are because they've seen you, they've seen you interacting and stuff like that. So I think it's a good idea to try to build those relationships.
Yes, very, very true. All right. So that's awesome. I got that one. So the next one is, where do you find inspiration for your best ideas? Honestly, I think for me, I literally like kind of like go back. Like I have like this time travel box that I sit in, and no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But I literally like go back and I think of like everything that happened in the last like 2-3 years or whatnot, and kind of and think about where I was at and how I was feeling, and the position that I, was playing at that moment, and think about what inspired me then, and kind of and then I now know like what to make now, and I have like a list of things that I want to do, like, I haven't done yet, but that list is important to have, because you may find yourself in a position to where, or in a place to where, like, you can't do it right now, but 2 weeks from now you can do it. You can get that thing done. And also I think too, again, Facebook groups or any type of group or any type of social media platform, which you see people asking questions all the time, having concerns about stuff all the time, and you can definitely put yourself in that position and say, oh yeah, I get it. Let me write this down, because this is going to be great to talk about in Periscope. This is going to be great to talk about in a blog post. I can definitely do a course about this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So get that running list going, and that's some ideas as far as inspiration goes.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. And I do the same thing. I see where people have questions. If I have an idea that is kind of growing in my mind for like a blog post or something like that, I ask questions, like, do you struggle with this? Do you want answers to this? Like, what do you think is best? I think finding inspiration through other people and what they need is the best way to go. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We answered all the questions.
Good.
Awesome. So I guess now let's go ahead and go to our last little bit, and we're gonna wrap this up because it's been like almost 2 hours. So
yeah.
Like 5 minutes. Yeah. All right. So let me do this really quickly. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Am I doing that right? Okay. So we have an awesome, cool thing. We're not gonna talk about this too much because we have, like I say, this is the first part of a 4-part series. So we're going to definitely build upon this as we go along. But we have an awesome bundle that we created, and this is a pre-launch bundle for the prerequisites, which is today's class. Plus, like, this is the course for it all. And so this is going to be the branding side and everything that Caitlin mentioned and more, plus, my side and everything I mentioned and more, together. So we're offering both bundles, branding and business prerequisites together for you guys. And as soon as I can get, and it's awesome, awesome price at $194. Okay, you guys. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty full of good stuff, and good actionable stuff to get you kind of going with your business. All right. And then we also, sorry, you guys. Yeah, okay, that's the value price. I think I said that was the price. So that the special class price is $157. Sorry, you guys. It's $157. This is gonna, like I said, include everything as far as what we talked about today, plus like in more detail, and like really like getting down to the nitty gritty and getting you to do the work type of feel. You know what I mean? Like, think teacher class. Like, that's how it's gonna be as far as the course goes.
Lots of actionable steps to do to actually take things that we're talking about today and implement them. And
then an awesome thing too, you'll have us too in there, with you kind of in the course, so you can kind of, if you really just get stuck, we can kind of push you along the way. Yeah. Okay, and so then we also have an ultimate bundle business and branding deal going on. This includes everything, which you haven't even touched on yet, which is awesome. So it'll include all the prerequisites for the branding and business, and the next 2 classes worth of stuff, maybe even 3, but yeah, the next 3 classes worth of stuff. As far as the next class is going to be business and branding 101. So that will be included, both branding and business, and then the internship phase, which will be included both branding and business. Okay. And also included with that is also a call for a consultation call from both of us. So 2 from Caitlin and 2 from myself. That you'll have, that you'll schedule at your convenience. And also access to our awesome Facebook group that we are starting, our Facebook community that we're going to start with this whole entire course. That way we can all be really involved, and that way you can, ask those questions and get answers from everybody, and resources from everybody, and be really involved and have a community of our own. And so bam, I should have just, used that to show you. But all the questions from me, all the questions from Caitlin, all going up together is exactly what it's going to be like. 2 30-minute calls from each one of us. Facebook group access, already explained, and that's an awesome value of $100. We wouldn't do that to y'all because we love you too much to do that. And so we're going to do an awesome special class price at $697, you guys. And one thing that we did not put on here, you guys, that we want to stress is that we will offer payment plans for this. And we did not put it on here, and we should have, but we're definitely okay with that. Believe me, I'm a mama that is, that's at home with her little cub, and payment plans are like my life. Like, that's how I get things. That's how I'm able to afford things, right? And so I totally understand it. And if you have, and if that's something that you were looking to do, then just simply shoot us an email at idea2launchcourse@gmail.com. And Kaylee can put that like in the chat or whatnot. And just let us know that we want it, and we can get and we want a payment plan with that. Also, you guys, so this is the price. $697 is the price of the ultimate bundle. Everything included, everything that we're going to talk about for the next classes on. But because of who you are today, we're going to offer that at a 50%, almost 50% discount, right? Or $100 off. Excuse me, $100 off, right, Caitlin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be $597 just until Sunday at 10:59 p.m. And the code for that is Prereq 101. I mean, no, what was the code? Prereq 100. Prereq 100. I don't know why I said 101. And I believe it's all caps. Yeah, Prereq, Prereq 100. And you get $100 off from that, you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I kind of explained it all.
And they can click the link to get there.
Yeah, let me do that. Is the link there? Okay, no. Okay, I'm gonna add that link in just a second to make sure that we can all get it.
And we'll send it out with the email and more.
Yeah, it'll be all in the email to you guys. So if you have any questions, then just let us know. Is there any questions in the chat, Caitlin?
No. Okay, good cool. to wrap up then.
Well, we appreciate you guys so much for coming by and spending your Saturday morning with us. We definitely are we're going to make this try to be as snappy as possible. We're going to start on time next time.
Yeah, we'll limit ourselves. We just get so excited, so much information to give.
It really is. It's like so much information to give, and that's like we can't hold back too much longer. Thankfully, we know now how to get all this done, so we can move forward and it'll be much smoother next time. And I hope that you learned some things, you guys, and I hope that you're ready to put this stuff to work for next class, because it's going to get more in detail and it's going to be more actionable, right, Caitlin?
Exactly. So I guess that's it.
Yeah, I'm adding that link in here right now, you guys, so that you can check it out. And yeah, so enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you soon. Check your emails, by the way, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.